I think stigma impacts the lives of every person diagnosed with HIV. I wasn't any different. I got diagnosed just after the first Grim Reaper ads on television. I felt stupid, I felt worthless. I didn't think anyone would ever want to have any close encounter with me again. I was being told that I was only going to live another 5 or 8 years and that my son was going to become an orphan. There was always a fear of what will people do if they know. I call it the burden of secrecy. I led a double life, as many people do. There was the me that everybody saw out there, and then there was the me that was living with this virus that was going to kill me. And I couldn't share it with anybody. I knew that if they know I've got HIV, I felt it would be like they'd just scatter. So I lived with that fear of that stigma for a long time. I got involved with Positive Women Victoria immediately. I said, is there a peer support group? They said, yes. I began talking in small groups, like to healthcare workers, and that was both cathartic for me, and I also could see it was really valuable for them. It was very difficult at first, so I used to cry a lot. And then in 1995, I became one of the first reps for Australia on Asia Pacific network of people living with HIV. The biggest motivator for me speaking out is to fight discrimination and stigma and to make people realise that HIV is just a chronic manageable condition and should be treated like that. I started documenting AIDS-related discrimination. We did this 4-country study. We trained people living with HIV to go out and do the interviews, and that was great because they felt empowered. It was like we've always been the subjects, but now with the researchers. And then I met another woman with HIV who was taking antiretrovirals. Side effects? No side effects. No, nothing, no. And it was because I met another woman with HIV that gave me the impetus to go, well, you know, I've got to. And coincidentally that month, I was nominated to carry the Olympic torch in the Sydney 2000 Olympics. And I talked to my son about it. And he said, I think you should do it, Mum. I think it'd be good for your health. I thought, how sweet. In July 2000, I ran down Hoddle Street carrying the torch on behalf of people with HIV. And the streets were full of people with HIV who were not public, cheering me on. And it was liberating. There was something about that. I felt like I flew down the road. And I've never looked back in a way, because my health returned and I went public all within, you know, a few months. And then by the end of that year, suddenly I'd finished and I'd got a PhD. And suddenly I was Dr. Susan Paxton. What a joke. Yes, I am proud of what I've done. I couldn't have stayed quiet. I think the stigma that I've experienced mostly has been self-stigma. At the same time, I don't think I was aware that I was stigmatising myself. I think it took me a long, long time to realise. It's quite likely that I might be around in another 10 years' time, which is a joyous and scary prospect at the same time. And what I do now is I paint, and that's been something that has given me a great deal of satisfaction, peace, calm. I paint oceans, I paint lots of water. I kind of bury myself in painting. So I think what I'm going to do now is try and live my life without feeling I have to do anything else to try and change the world. Just try and enjoy life.